Aloha everyone, and welcome to another Carbon 60 video by me, K. Elmer. And in this video I'd like to just cover with you some information I gathered by talking to various individuals in the C60 industry as to how coronavirus is impacting their business and just any of their personal opinions about what's going on right now. So I thought that would be very interesting to share with everybody, and I just put this video together. I do want to say this is a re-record. I did release this for about a day earlier this week, and there was so much new information in the last few days. Plus I made a mistake, which I apologize for, and so now I just want to do a full re-record and put this information out again, because I do think it's very valuable, and I think it's very eye-opening as to what's going on as far as coronavirus and the C60 industry. So let's just jump right in. What I did and where I got the idea for doing this video was on the February 22nd and February 28th, Sarah Westall had interviewed a couple of individuals in the C60 industry, and in those interviews, they brought up the fact that they were having problems finding bottles, and that kind of just just set a flag off in my head that there's going to be an impact. As you know, there's people running around all over the country now, swiping up toilet paper and bottled water, but what would happen to the C60 industry for those of us who have come to rely on C60 as one of our daily supplements. So I thought that was really interesting. So there are links in the video description below for all the companies mentioned in this video. Again, as typical, I just want to mention this is not an endorsement. This is just me sharing my research. So, but Max and Phil from Live Longer Labs on 22nd of February mentioned that they had a shortage of bottles. They were having a hard time finding bottles. They buy by the thousands, right? And that they were starting to recommend that people, when you finish your bottle, if you buy it commercially, don't throw it away. They were suggesting that there may be a point where if producers can't get bottles, that they may switch to a system where you send them your old ones, they sterilize them and then refill them and send them back. So it's definitely a good idea at this point for everyone to just start being frugal about things like that, and think about the reality that we won't get resupplied for a while because China's been down for so long. On February 28th, Ken Schwartz talked with Sarah on the Sarah Westall YouTube channel, and he had the same comment. He actually said that he had to go warehouse hunting all over China to find bottles, and then he actually stated that based on what he learned trying to get supplies for his company, which is C60 Purple Power, that he stated in the beginning of March all of the current ships from China will have unloaded, and there's nothing after that, which is true. If you look on mainstream news right now, I just watched a interview of the Port Authority for LA, the Port of LA, and it literally it's quite empty. So the ships have slowly trickled down because of the shutdown in China, and there's going to be a point and a gap in our supply line where we're going to run into shortages and things like that. So definitely it's something to think about as it relates to C60. Now, he also talked a lot in this video. This is actually a very good interview if you want to learn more about C60 and how the coronavirus works, because Ken is a chemist and he's talking about it from a chemist standpoint, and he did mention that the virus, what the doctors have been finding, or the scientists have discovered, that it just depletes the body's glutathione, and it basically causes a radical oxygen species, or a radical, a free radical storm in the body, that it overwhelms the body's ability to overcome that, and all that free radical does all this damage. And he said that that he knows that that his statement was that C60 can play the role of glutathione, which is what's getting devastated and depleted as these viruses ravage people. So it can actually play the role of glutathione when people are devastated by the virus. He also said that vitamin C helps, and so I'll get into that in a little while. But so that was comments from Ken Schwartz. So when I saw these two videos, I really thought, hey, what else is going on? So I reached out to several people that I do know. I know these, 6 individuals, and through Dave Chase at C60 Labs, he got in touch with Dr. Pierre-Louis Brunner of the Solaris Chem, the Canadian C60, raw C60 chemical company, and got a quote from him for this video. So thank you for that, Dave. So now when I reached out to Bob Greska with Greska C60, I reached out to Marten-Red, talk with, and this is all via email, by the way, talk with Ian Mitchell at C360 Health. He also runs Carbon 60 Plus and Life Pet. Dave, of course, at C60 Labs, and Rebecca, the C60 Company in the UK, and then Philip von Holzendorf of Leela Labs in Germany. So I kind of just tried different countries, what's going on. That's what this video is all about, is what do these people have to say about how the virus is affecting their business and what they're hearing from customers. All right, so let's jump right in to what folks had to say. Bob Greska with Greska's C60 in the United States got back to me. My question essentially to all of these individuals was, what are you hearing? Are you having issues with your supply chain? And what do you think? Because these are all very experienced professionals in the C60 industry. And so Bob wrote back to me and said, to date it appears there has not been one scientific study on carbon-60 and the coronavirus, which is true. Even though there is a lot of speculation that C60 will help against coronavirus, there is no scientific evidence that C60 will be effective against coronavirus. There have, however, been studies on functionalized C60 atoms or molecules chemically attached to C60 and viruses. These studies on viruses and functionalized C60 have reported promising results. It would be assumptive and premature to conclude similar results based on our non-functionalized C60 and a different virus, which means you can't take the results from people tweaking C60 for drug type of objectives and comparing that to the commercial C60 oil product that people use for supplements. Okay, Bob further goes on to say, I could not personally make the conclusion that C60 will help with the coronavirus, as there's no scientific studies to back up this speculation, and I cannot legally give medical advice. Very smart thing to say, but he does say, yes, we are seeing an increase in sales, but no supply chain problems. So that's really good to hear from Bob. He's located in Colorado. So far, no supply chain problems, increases in sales. And I really want to make a point of what Bob's saying here is, again, I try to remind everybody all the time when people forget, because it's been around for so long now. The C60 has still not been approved by the FDA. It's still been no human trials have been published. It's still very experimental, and that as you taking it, you are part of the grand human trial on this thing. So it's very experimental, and it's a very good reminder that of that fact. Okay, so but really good points that Bob's bringing to the table. Now, when I chatted with Martin from Red Lion, he's located in Ireland, he basically said that COVID-19 seems to be like the flu on steroids. So far, none of our customers have caught the flu this winter. If anything, I got a sniffle, which went away, and I have a young daughter. You know what schools are like, Centers for Disease. I got not a single thing from her this year. Even when she had the flu, I didn't bother taking any precautions, but still no flu. Then there's the older lady who worked in the building with bad air, and she also reported no flu this season, and a few other people. That's a lady that he comments in his last newsletter, I believe. So I'm going to ask people in newsletters if anyone has caught the flu using Red Lion C60 olive oil. It would be great if we got feedback on this, because obviously we can only surmise the results until someone with COVID-19 uses Red Lion or Red Lion C60 olive oil or C60 olive oil in general. And then he asked me, perhaps you could help in this. I want to make a plea for data. So right now, sales right now are getting stronger by the day. I think that because people have realized they've got no flu this season. For example, we got our first order from Saudi Arabia the other day. I expect sales to peak in July. I prefer not to get sales this way, but then again, it could be very positive. I have to agree with you that it isn't going away anytime soon. And so, at the end of the day, there's a case to be made that C60 is really helpful for the immune system. As you know from all the other videos I've made, other people have made, what does it do? It helps your body heal itself because of its ability to scavenge all of your free radicals in your body. And so he's noticing that people who are taking C60 aren't getting the regular flu, and so that really piques my interest to say, well, how are you guys doing? For everybody who watches this video, if you take Red Lion, or if you don't take, if you take another product, if you could just comment, please. It's March already, right? So if you could just comment in the video comments, I'll pass this along to Martin. But what we want to know, Martin and I, we would like to know, for people who are taking C60 oil, have you, and specifically his product, but whatever product, have you caught the flu this year? And that would be very indicative if we find that there's a ton of people who have not and then and that are that are taking C60 oil, and that would be a very, very interesting data point. So if you could help us out, please comment in the video about how you're doing this year in relation to illnesses. Okay, and then it's just more data, and the whole purpose of this video is the more we know, the more we share information amongst ourselves, the better decisions that we can make about what we want to do for ourselves and for our family. And that's really why I'm presenting this video and collecting all of these different comments and sharing them with you. So the more data we can get, the more we collaborate, the better we'll all be from it. So please, if you could do that, that would be awesome. Okay, so speaking with Ian Mitchell, and by far Ian Mitchell, if you know who he is literally the top scientist in the C60 field. And again, he is in the United States. He operates out of 2 different labs. I know one of them is in Colorado, I think. And anyway, his product or his company, he's got 3, C360 Health, Carbon 60 Plus, and Live Pet. So he does a pet product as well as C60 pet product. Now, Ian got back to me and said, I foresee it definitely hitting the supply chain as a lot of the factories that produce C60 were in Wuhan. Which I was very surprised. I did not know that. That's amazing, because Wuhan's been shut down for weeks. And so try to imagine all of that C60 that's not being produced and not being sent out to everybody who buys it. So I think it will, Ian goes on to say, I think it will likely spike sales as people always make emotional sales choices, and fear is a pretty hefty emotion. Very true. It is a great overall mitochondrial supporter and has shown some antiviral properties, so I imagine a lot of people will be pushing it for this. There are some recent studies using intravenous vitamin C showing that it slowed down symptoms in low-level cases but did nothing to affect patient outcomes in more severe cases. People will likely make the leap to C60 because it's a stronger antioxidant, and they will think that correlation is meaningful. I think somebody will crack it soon, and I figure there are quite a few ways to do it. So it wouldn't surprise me if there is a way to do it incorporating C60, doing it meaning finding a way to cure, to treat, a coronavirus. But unfortunately, it still isn't mainstream enough to garner the researchers probably required to pull that off. Okay, so very prudent information, and that in speculation here that C60 could help, and it could be very helpful, and eventually it'll just take some time for that to actually come out. I don't know if you knew this, but Ian Mitchell's actually developed a cancer serum using C60 as a carrier. So if anybody knows, he's got several patents to his name how to do this kind of stuff. It's Ian. Thank you, Ian, by the way, and thank you everybody who's responded to me. And now Dave over at C60 Labs in the United States, basically he stated, for C60 Labs, I got concerned about the potential supply issues late January. The cobalt glass bottles, caps, bottle reducers, and oral syringes we use are all manufactured in China or Taiwan, so we purchased and stored large quantities of each item. Very, very smart, Dave. At current production levels, I'm confident we have over a year's worth of packaging supply. So yeah, that's it's someone looking future, very smart. While we have not seen a noticeable increase in business over the past few weeks, I am answering a lot more questions from concerned customers. The general consensus seems to be that doing anything to boost immune levels will go a long way towards helping to fight off this virus, as with most viruses and ailments. And I completely agree, and it goes right back to Martin's point. It goes back to Ian's point, that C60, there is speculation that it can help. And so, so definitely there's something there. Now, Rebecca is from the C60 Company located in the United Kingdom, and she wrote me back and said, at the moment, I do not see any impacts as long as the C60 you are buying is from a USA lab. I don't buy anything from China for our supply chain, so not concerned at this stage. However, I do understand that even they, USA Labs, buy the graphite rods from China, so eventually all supply has the potential to dry up, and then the prices will increase. I have seen a massive uptick in sales since Saturday, and this is last Saturday. Today is March 8th, 2020. So since last Saturday, clients are putting in huge orders to stock up for the next 12 months. At the moment, I am struggling to keep up with demand, and products are selling out before they have finished their manufacturing cycle. I've ordered enough C60 to get me through the next 2 months, and will assess the situation again at the end of this month. Interestingly, I had an email from China today offering me C60 for sale. They were based in Wuhan. Difficult to get the truth out of the Chinese at the best of times, but I thought Wuhan was on lockdown, which they are. So, you never know. Okay, so thank you, Rebecca. And then when speaking with Philip von Holzendorf, owner-operator of Leela Labs in Germany, he responded regarding our C60 cosmetics, powders, and oils. I don't really foresee anything change for us since we do not buy anything from China. And I don't see any components originating from China. We only buy high-quality organic oils and other organic ingredients that we mainly buy in Germany, Austria, USA, and Canada. As an example, organic olive oil or organic hemp seed oil are all products that also our suppliers don't get from Asia. So at this point, I don't see an issue because of that. That's awesome. However, if at a point of panic should lead people to buying hoarding products, then this may impact all products eventually. Lastly, if the virus at some point were to spread similarly from China and also similarly impact Europe and the US, then we'll also be heavily impacted. So, and since he wrote this to me, we all know what has happened in Milan, so it's definitely in Europe at this point. So that's how fast, things are changing right now. Now, Philip also goes on to say, hold on. For the C60 market in general, I see prices increase, by the way, and shortage play a role probably. That is only partially because of supply chain. It's rather the combination with increased demand due to the virus. We will keep prices stable as long as we can and are not impacted by any shortage or price increase ourselves. So that seems to be going really well in Germany. Good job, and thank you, Philip. So now Dr. Pierre-Louis Brunner of Solaris Chem responded to Dave, and this was shared with me. And his response to the questions that I posed to everybody was, of course, China slowed down on the production of many materials and supply for all the industries. I believe it is more critical for the complex manufacturing involving multiple parts coming from all over the world, such as the automotive industry, as only one part is missing, the whole line is frozen. However, the situation is temporary, and they seem to have the situation fairly under control. Manufacturing in China was stopped anyway for the festivities as usual and resumed slowly later. On the bright side, it is clearing their skies, which is very true if you've seen the NASA pictures. For us, we were also very lucky to have the inventory renewed early this year. So here's another producer, another manufacturer that bought their annual supplies early. Very, 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 very smart. Even if most our suppliers are from North America and Europe, with China cut off, these suppliers also experienced shortages due to higher demand for more local suppliers. This is also what happened to us recently where we saw an increase in demand due most probably to customers that needed a new source besides their Chinese suppliers. We are trying to have a good amount in stock to fulfill these demands. Our customers that are on a monthly base plans are prioritized in case temporary shortage due to larger sales volumes. So this is a very important point, everyone, is that even if the company you're buying from doesn't have a shortage or they don't deal with China, it's all the people who do deal with China are getting cut off from their supplies, and so where are those customers going to go? Where are they going to go? So there's definitely the possibility, if not the probability, of shortages in the near future, both in terms of raw materials, oils, C60, graphite rods, bottles. I mean, all of it. It's just we're looking at there's going to be an impact, and so. If you step back and think about it, and first I just want to say thank you everyone for responding to my requests for information. Thank you for contributing to this video. I think, again, the more information we have, the better decisions we can make. So if I were to summarize, kind of like what everyone was saying, bottom line is what I'm hearing is sales are increasing. So, it's just like everything we're seeing in the news. And there are impacts to the supply lines. First is right now, it's only bottles. What will it be next? Oils or whatever. So now I think another thing that's really kind of poignant is that, Ian pointed out vitamin C as a potential treatment. And so what I did, I don't know if you noticed my other video, I think a few weeks ago, right? I actually created a video because the Zhanghua, sorry if I mispronounced that, hospital in Wuhan started a clinical trial with high-dose intravenous vitamin C as a treatment for coronavirus. Since February 13th, that video was done. There have been 2 other clinical trials with high-dose vitamin C being trialed in China right now, in Hubei province. And so I just wrote a blog post a couple of days ago as an update to that video. And one of the critical updates that has come out, I believe, Monday, which was last Monday, today's Sunday, this prior Monday, I think it was March 3rd, it came out that the Shanghai government officially endorsed high-dose vitamin C for coronavirus. And so if there's a link to my blog in the video description. It's the most recent article. It lists all of the different, press releases and things like that have come out about those clinical trials, and these are real formal clinical trials. They're registered with clinicaltrials.gov, and and there's all the list of all the doctors that are involved and the institutions that are involved. This is very formal, and so what's happening with vitamin C now, with high dose vitamin C, is that there's 3 trials. There's been sufficient evidence from the first trial that there's been tremendously large quantities of C60 ordered and delivered and trucked into Hubei province, and that now the Shanghai government has come out and said this is the treatment for coronavirus. So unfortunately, I searched mainstream news, Google, YouTube, and that story has not made it out into the general public yet, but it's out there. If you if you go to my article on my blog, click on the links, you can see the actual government press releases and all of the people and institutions behind these clinical trials and this announcement. So it is a huge deal. And so I want to point that out as point number 1 here, that vitamin C is a potential treatment. If you haven't heard about that, watch my video, read my blog article about this. The second thing is that C60, as Ian alluded to, and some other of these individuals have alluded to, well, technically it's 172 times stronger than vitamin C as an antioxidant. And now if vitamin C as a strong antioxidant and taking high dose vitamin C knocks out this virus, then the question remains, and this is what Ian was alluding to, which is what happens if you use C60. It's way stronger, and what would happen, and then what we just don't have enough data, which is what Martin is asking for, is, hey, folks, could you, just chime in, let us know how things are going. So it's very probable that C60 is going to definitely strengthen your immune system during this escapade we're living through, and it also could possibly be a treatment. Now, I want to make a very important claim here in the fine print. Just like in the pharmaceutical ads, these statements have not been approved by the FDA and are not to be construed as medical or health advice. All right, but I want to get back to my bullets. So it's possible, it's probable, it may be highly likely that it's going to help. And so I would say to you guys, if you're taking C60, keep taking C60. It's going to help you one way or another. Now, if you actually get the virus, high-dose vitamin C is proven through those clinical trials, and this might be a good fallback, as another possibility. So I just wanted to share that with you. That's kind of what I got, and then also my other research on vitamin C. And I really do want to point out something over here. The FUD is strong. Boy, the FUD is strong on this whole story. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And I just want to say that I'm not at all trying to push that. I really want to bring you the science. I want to bring you what professionals in the field who own their own companies are saying. This is not hearsay. This is directly from the sources. If you look at those links that I put in my blog article or my other video, everything is backed up by the science and by the research and by what's been published. So I don't want anyone to construe anything that I've said in this video or anything that anyone else has said in this video as any fear, uncertainty, or doubt. These are all facts. These are scientific facts. And anything that is speculation, I really want to make sure it's clear that it is speculation. So I don't want to push any FUD on you guys. There's enough FUD already. So, and then as you listen to other videos and as you do your research, there's a lot of fear. I mean, there is. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. But keep in mind the distinguish between someone trying to share information with you and someone trying to scare you. Okay. So the last thing I want to say, and I just want to bring this up because this was in the prior video that I'm going to take down. I did take down and replace with this video, was the announcement that Monty has decided to take a break from running the C60 Telegram co-op. And so, this incredible gentleman has spent, this is Monty over here with his lay, thank you, Monty, because for over the last year and a half, he has single-handedly run the co-op at his own expense. Literally, he puts out a considerable amount of money. I mean, tens of thousands of dollars, buys huge lots of C60, personally repackages them into little 1 gram vials, personally does all the labeling, personally does all the shipping and handling and going to the post office at zero profit. I mean, literally at cost. It's been completely voluntary, and he's done batch after batch after batch, and at this point, Monty is just needs a break, and so we're just so Monty's taking a step down, and the entire community. There's over 500 of us, and like he told me, he's like, when it first started, it was like maybe a couple hundred of us, and it was manageable, but now there's 500. It's more than doubled. And he just couldn't keep up with it anymore because he has a very, he's just like the rest of us. He's a working guy, a full-time job, family, the whole bit. So, so he's taking a step down. Want to just say thank you from the community. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you've done. I mean, it's the most generous thing you could ever do, which is volunteer your time away from your family to help complete strangers save money so they can improve their health. And I just want to say thank you so much. Monty, thank you very much for what you've done. So now he's taking a step down, and honestly, for a few days, we didn't know what we were going to do. I announced this in this first version of this video that we're just not going to have one. And then I just want to say, by the universe's good graces, Philip von Holzendorf of Leela Labs found out that Monty was stepping down, and by just absolute fortunateness, just alignment of the stars, whatever. But Philip has volunteered Leela Labs resources to take over production of the Telegram co-op, and so what's going to happen now, and by the way, thank you so much, Philip. I mean, the community is so thankful. There are so many people who want to take C60 who just absolutely can't afford it. It's just beyond what they can pay, and that's what the whole co-op was designed to do. So what Philip's doing is basically he's running at bare bones minimum profit. He's going to basically take over all of the orders of the C60 co-op, our Telegram co-op, but it has to conform to his existing fulfillment, or it's going to cost him more money, and he doesn't have any margin. I mean, he has no room, and he's not making any money, so he can't run it at a loss. Nobody can run a business at a loss. So what he's asked me to convey is that Leela Labs is going to rescue our co-op. You can buy C60 through the co-op. Leela Labs will be the fulfillment and the payment wing of that, but it fits into how they do stuff, which is it's going to be a minimum a 2 or 5 gram order going forward. We used to do, I think Monty used to actually even sell down to the half a gram, but now it's just only going to be 2 or 5. And then everybody that comes in from the co-op is going to get the co-op discount. And I think Monty was selling C60 for 110 plus shipping. I think it's only going to go up to maybe like 115, 120 plus shipping. So it's only a little bit more for Leela Labs to take it over. And when you look at the price of retail C60, it's like 230, 240. I mean, so it's still at 120. It is an incredible co-op bargain, and thank you. And if you guys ever talk to Philip or DM him, please give him a thank you for the community, because he's doing a huge favor and not making anything off of us, to kind of pick up and take care of the community, and that is just awesome. I mean, how many people do you know like that? So thank you, Monty. Thank you, Philip, for helping in the Telegram co-op and helping all the people that benefit from the co-op. So thank you very much. So this is it. Thank you to all of the individuals who responded to my emails for information. Thank you for watching my video. I know time is precious, so again, I wanted to share this with you. I thought it was very interesting. I wanted to know what other people were thinking about coronavirus, what it's doing to the C60, whether or not maybe I should get a little bit more. And to be transparent, I did. After I heard all these people come back to me and say, yeah, sales are increasing, I have a hard time getting stuff, I'm like, okay. So I went out and stocked up myself on C60. So I'm assured of being able to continue to take my daily supplement. I take a tablespoon a day, and it's the reason I go. It's like my coffee, but it's healthy, super healthy coffee. So yeah, I mean, so I've definitely stocked up myself, and I just wanted to let you know what people are saying and what people are doing. Again, honestly, the better the information you have, the better decisions you have, in very uncertain times on how you can take care of your loved ones and yourself. So please take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching my video. And lastly, we still are running the C60 chat group on Telegram. The join link is in the video description below. Again, I did start a blog. It's called the Tinkers Academy. And if you want to go ahead and go to that blog, or you want to go to the blog and read the vitamin C article, in your browser URL window, just type in tinkers.academy and it'll take you right there. That's the URL for the new blog. Again, thank you very much for watching this video today. Have a great weekend. Aloha.